Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Lunch and Learn webinar about Ahola's Ohio BWC service. We're happy you can join us and hope that you will find today's session informative. My name is Oscar Mejia, and I am the Learning and Development Manager here at Ahola Payroll. I have around 8 years of tenure here at Ahola and a total of a little over 11 years of payroll experience. If at all you have any questions about today's session, please feel free to send me an email. I can be reached at Mejia, that is first initial, last name, at ahola.com. For those of you who may not know a lot about Ahola, we are a family-owned payroll and HR service provider headquartered in Brecksville, Ohio, with 55 years of payroll, tax, and HR experience. We've served over 10,000 small businesses nationwide. Ahola offers a full range of payroll and HR services and software. Today, our staff of payroll, tax, and human resource professionals serve thousands of businesses by helping them with their human capital management needs. Before we get started, I would like to say thank you to Ann Barr, one of our operations support managers here at Ahola. Ann is a subject matter expert on Ohio's workers' compensation and provided the content for today's webinar. Ann was closely involved in the development of our current Ohio BWC service, and she now oversees the Ohio BWC team that administers this service to our clients. So the agenda for this morning. For today's session, we will not be taking live questions. So if you have any questions, please feel free to enter them in the chat or the Q&A section of the team's lobby. Today's webinar will be recorded, and we will send the recording along with the questions and answers to all the registrants after the webinar. Now that the housekeeping has been taken care of, let's look at the agenda for this morning. In this session, we will give a brief overview of Ohio workers' compensation and what makes Ohio different from other states. We will present the benefits of our Ohio BWC service and explain the services and features that are included in this service. We will then explain how the payment process will work with our partner, Smart Pay Solutions. And finally, we will discuss how you can register for this service and what to expect when the service begins. Now let's get started. For those of you who are not familiar with Ohio workers' compensation, it should be noted that Ohio workers' compensation is handled differently than other states. Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation uses a prospective billing system to calculate what it expects a business to owe for each policy year. Ohio's policy year runs from July 1st through June 30th for private employers. Prospective billing is an insurance industry standard practice that enables the Ohio BWC to collect premiums in advance of coverage. Employers remit the estimated installment payments throughout the policy year based on their assigned schedule, which can range from monthly to annually. Now, if an employer does not pay their premiums on time, they won't be covered under the workers' compensation system and will be responsible for any costs associated with injured workers. Ohio BWC's premium calculation is based on payroll history and projected estimates for the upcoming policy year. The Bureau assigns classification codes and corresponding risk rates based on the type of work a business engages in and the tasks performed by their employees. At the end of each policy year, employers are required to file a true-up report to report their actual payroll dollars and premium liability for that policy year. The Ohio BWC compares the reported actual payroll dollars and calculated premiums to the estimated payroll and the estimate-based installment payments. Based off of this comparison, a business may owe additional premiums for the policy year, or they may receive a credit or refund amount. It is also possible for this reconciliation to produce a zero balance. There are many tasks that employers must complete related to the Ohio BWC requirements. First, the employer must remember to make the scheduled installment payments. Failure to remit the payments by the deadline can result in a lapse of the policy. The employer must keep track of employee risk classification codes and update the codes if the employees change jobs. The employer must compile payroll data to obtain the workers' compensation reportable wages by risk code for the policy period. Since the policy period is not an annual period to match the payroll reporting, this task is usually a manual process. The employer must monitor and apply any weekly and/or annual minimum maximum amounts, such as for corporate officers and construction jobs. This task can likely be a manual process as well. The employer must prepare the annual true-up report and file it with the Ohio BWC. The employer must remit the true-up payment, if there is any, by the required due date to avoid a lapse in policy. Also, the employer must respond to requests from the Ohio BWC for true-up audits. Now, in the last few years, audit requests have increased and have become a common occurrence for employers. Multiple reports and copies of tax returns are generally required to be provided. Based on these numerous responsibilities, it's easy to understand why many employers find the Ohio BWC process to be very time-consuming, burdensome, and sometimes overwhelming. So, you ask, is there an option for employers to simplify this cumbersome process? Yes. Employers can register for Ahola's Ohio BWC service. This comprehensive service will simplify the entire payroll process and remove the hassle of Ohio BWC tasks from the employer. Our Ohio BWC service takes care of all of the previously mentioned responsibilities, including payroll reporting, payments to the BWC, preparation and filing of the annual true-up, access to scheduled and historical payment records, and assistance with gathering auditing reports. Ahola is partnering with a company called Smart Pay Solutions to handle the payment function to the Ohio BWC as part of our service. We will talk more about Smart Pay a little later in the presentation. Now, let's take a close look at each of the key features of our service. Enhanced payroll reporting. Clients who elect our Ohio BWC service will enjoy enhanced workers' compensation reporting within isolved. Reports will be available throughout the policy year to show payroll wages for employees listed by their workers' comp classification codes. This will allow clients to review the data throughout the year instead of having to wait for the end of the policy year to ensure accuracy. Reports showing the annual true-up data will also be stored in isolved. In addition, there will be a dashboard reporting available in Smart Pay system to allow clients to view the records of upcoming payments as well as historical payments. Monthly installment payments. The Ahola, Ohio BWC program includes the automated impound and remittance of installment payments to Ohio BWC on a monthly basis. Ahola sends the monthly BWC invoice information to SmartPay for processing. Please note that payments will be made based on each employer's installment schedule with the BWC, which can be less frequent than monthly. So if your installment schedule is quarterly, for example, your installment payments will be made quarterly. Additional payments. Ahola will remit any additional payments due as a result of adjustments based on audit findings or BWC adjustments. If a client has a payment balance on their monthly BWC invoice, then the payment will be processed through SmartPay. In addition, any credits available on the employer's workers' compensation account will be redeemed at the end of the policy period and used to offset the annual true-up payment. Preparation and filing of the annual true-up. Ahola will generate and file the annual true-up report to the BWC at the end of each policy year. This will be similar to the way tax returns are filed. The process will be handled by Ahola without the need of any client interaction. True-up payments. In addition to filing true-up reporting to the BWC, Ahola will also remit the true-up payments due as a result of the true-up reconciliation. As mentioned earlier, if a client has a credit balance at the end of the policy year, Ahola will redeem the credits with the true-up payment. There are many programs offered by Ohio BWC, which can result in credits to employers for complying with certain programs, such as the Drug-Free Safety Program, Go Green Discount Program, and the Lapse-Free Discount Program. Ahola will redeem these credits for clients at the end of the policy year to reduce the true-up payment. Email notifications. Now, email notifications from SmartPay will alert clients to upcoming installment payment debit amounts prior to the impound each month. Any changes to the payment amounts that may result from audit findings or other adjustments will be communicated via these email notifications prior to the impound. Easy access to scheduled and historical payments. Through our payment partners at SmartPay, clients will have access to upcoming scheduled installment payments and historical records of past payments made to the Ohio BWC through SmartPay. Auditing reporting assistance. Clients on our Ohio BWC service will have access to our Ohio BWC team for general questions and for assistance with gathering the needed reports for audit requests. From clients currently on our Ohio BWC service, we overwhelmingly hear that their top 3 favorite features of this service are 1. True-up reporting. Clients on our service do not need to worry about manual preparing the true-up and complying with those reporting requirements. The true-up data is contained in isolved and reported electronically to the Ohio BWC at the end of the policy year. Payment processing. Clients on our service do not have to worry about remitting the payments from the Ohio BWC invoices. If there is a payment balance due on the monthly invoice, it will automatically be impounded by SmartPay and remitted to the Ohio BWC prior to the due date. Email notifications about upcoming impounds will be received from SmartPay prior to the date of the impound. An audit report assistance. Although we will not actually attend the audit sessions, we can help clients gather the needed information for the BWC. We have heard from clients that the audits themselves are pretty easy and straightforward as long as the requested reports and tax returns are submitted to the BWC. This is a huge advantage for our clients. Audit requests can be stressful for employers, so having Ahola's experience to help interpret the audit requests and provide the needed reports and tax returns is invaluable for our clients. As mentioned earlier, Ahola has partnered with SmartPay Solutions for processing workers' compensation payments. Ahola clients will have the option to create a user account within the SmartPay platform to access their payment information and allow them to view upcoming scheduled installment payments, as well as historical payment information for payments made through SmartPay. And then each month, our clients will receive an email with advance notification of pending installment payments prior to their bank accounts being debited for that installment or other payments. Any additional amounts due or changes to installment payment amounts will also generate an advance email notification, including the amount to be impounded, again, which is prior to the debit dates. Now, keep in mind that all of our clients' workers' compensation payroll data is stored entirely in isolved. Ahola will handle the true-up filing with the Ohio BWC. SmartPay handles the payment processes only. SmartPay handles notifying clients about upcoming payments, submitting the transactions to withdraw the funds from the client's bank accounts, and remitting the payments to the Ohio BWC. Now that we've discussed what is included in our Ohio BWC service, let's review what is not included and if there are any stipulations. It is important to note that our Ohio BWC service covers the payroll services for the installment payments, additional payments, and true-up reporting and those payments. Our service does not handle any work related to claims or receipt of workers' compensation benefits. Ahola acts as a payroll service vendor on behalf of our clients with the Ohio BWC. Keep in mind that clients may still also need their accountant or an outside firm to handle their claims processing and or workers' compensation risk management functions. Also, please note that Ahola is unable to accept policies that encompass multiple FEINs. If you are an employer with multiple related entities and you are interested in Ahola's Ohio BWC service, you must have separate Ohio workers' compensation policies for each FEIN in order to join our BWC service. One other thing to remember is that this service is only for Ohio workers' compensation. If you have employees working in other states, this service does not include the other states. So, what are the next steps for clients interested in Ahola's Ohio BWC service? Clients who are interested in signing up for the service should reach out to us, either through their dedicated client partner, their designated sales executive, or by reaching out to Ahola's BWC support team directly via email at bwcsupport@ahola.com. After contacting us, you will be put in contact with a sales executive who can provide all of the details regarding the setup and the service fees for this service. If you decide to sign up for this service, here's what to expect. Clients will need to provide some basic information about their policy, classification codes, and experience ratings in order to have the Ohio BWC information set up on their account. During the setup, Ahola will work with clients to collect the required information. Other information that will need to be provided includes a list of corporate officers, a list of employees who are exempt from Ohio BWC, and a list of any owners or other employees that have elective coverage. Clients will also have to sign some authorization forms. After signing up for this service, clients will be notified when the service will begin and which month their first installment payment will be processed. Now, please note, until notified, clients should continue to remit their installment payments as they have been. The time frame for beginning services can vary depending on the complexity of the client's account and the volume of the new client setups that are received. Now, in order to begin service, clients should expect to complete and sign some important forms. Clients will need to complete and sign the following: the BWC Form AC2, which gives permission to Ahola to access the client's account on the BWC website and to act as the payroll service vendor for the client. The Ahola, Ohio BWC Service Acknowledgement Form, which acknowledges the responsibilities of the client and the responsibilities of Ahola. The Ahola, Ohio BWC Information Form. This form provides the details needed to set up the workers' compensation information in isolved. And finally, the SmartPay Authorization Form, which will be sent directly from SmartPay using DocuSign. This form authorizes SmartPay to load the client's bank account information in SmartPay and to process those payments on the client's behalf. Once the Ohio BWC service begins, here are the responsibilities. Ahola and SmartPay will handle the payment processing. Clients should watch out for the payment notification emails coming from SmartPay, which should generally be received 2 or 3 business days prior to the impound date. Ahola will handle preparing and filing the true-up reports. If clients have Ohio BWC questions, they should contact BWC support at ahola.com. Clients are responsible for notifying Ahola about any changes to their BWC policy, such as new classification codes or rates. Clients must also notify Ahola if employees change their classification codes or if there are any changes to corporate officers or employees with elective coverage. As we get ready to wrap up today's session, if you have any questions about our Ohio BWC service, please feel free to enter them in the chat now. Or if you think of any questions later, you may contact your dedicated client partner, your sales executive, or send an email to our BWC team at bwcsupport@ahola.com. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to learn our Ohio BWC service offerings. We hope you'll consider taking advantage of this valuable service. Our Ohio BWC team looks forward to working with you. Be sure to watch out for emails regarding upcoming Lunch and Learn webinars. Again, I will stay open on this chat for a couple more minutes to allow any questions to come through the chat in the Q&A. Follow this webinar series, we will send a recorded copy of today's session and an FAQ with any questions that we receive. If you don't have any questions for us, again, thank you so much for taking the time to learn about our service, and I hope you have a great afternoon.